David Ornstein has revealed Manchester United transfer plans. We'll be going through what he said on the midfield. He's talked about Semenyo and why actually Manchester United didn't sign him. We've also got some update on Xerxes and much more. But let's get into the Manchester United news now. He talked about firstly the midfield, and he said, I'm not aware of anything concrete on that front in terms of signing Ruben Neves and James Garner. He said a midfield top priority is midfield, specifically the number six role. A January midfield move is unlikely, and the summer is more realistic. Anderson, Water, and Baleba are among the 5-6 midfield options being closely studied. Possible outgoings include Mainu less likely, Xerxes more plausible, but nothing in advance. Links to Ruben Neves and James Garner are not concrete. So listen, we've seen sort of Manchester United being linked to um, Ruben Neves and James Garner, two very different profiles and two very interesting players. I think two very different players who, again, sort fit the profile that Manchester United are going for in terms of signing a deep lying sort of number six who can control the game. Ultimately, a similar Casemiro, but just 5 or 6 years younger. Now, you look at sort of the options that we've been linked to in January, you're not going to get one of your big signings because it's just going to be impossible. You're not going to get Wharton out of Crystal Palace. You're not going to get Anderson out of Forest, and you obviously Baleba you're not going to get either. So those can already be scrapped for the January window. Now, in terms of looking at other options, I think definitely Ruben Neves was my ideal choice. Now, again, according to David Ornstein, who again is the most reliable, Manchester United are not likely to sign him this window. Again, it's frustrating because he does present a good opportunity. Now, that does mean it's not going to happen. But David Ornstein, who is very credible, he hasn't heard anything yet. Now, obviously, the window's not open and things can change depending on what happens, and depending on, I think, how performances go. But with obviously the game yesterday against Newcastle, Ugarte didn't have the worst game, but is he the midfielder that United want going forward? For me, I don't think so. I don't think he's good enough. And I think Ruben Neves, again, 15-20 million, would be a cheap option. Got Prem experience, got quality. Again, the one downside would be will he be willing to take a wage cut, and also the fact that he is 28 going on 29, he doesn't kind of fit the profile. Now, James Garner's a totally different player. He's 24, playing consistently and played every game for Everton this season. Obviously, been at United before, understands the club, also got Prem experience, also a deep line playmaker. But again, there's nothing concrete yet. And I think it will be difficult to get him out of Everton because he is someone who's very liked by Moyes. However, he is entering the final 6 months of his contract. So again, there could be potentially something that United try and do with James Garner, but nothing concrete going on there. So listen, the midfield, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think it is kind of a huge blow as of now. There's nothing that's gonna happen around the midfield. So I'll take any midfielder really, whether that's Ruben Neves, João Gomez, um, or any deep line playmaker anyway. Ruben Neves and these sorts of players that can come into the team and immediately make a difference. And I think that's something that we need. We just need something in that midfield. Because yes, Casemiro and Ugarte are good, but you look at Casemiro, he got taken off, what was it, 50th minute? And you can see the shock on his face when he came off. But again, he can't play 90 minutes going forward, and he trusted Ugarte to be on the pitch. And again, you're playing with Friday because we know Ugarte is not great. So yeah, the midfield certainly is kind of disappointment that we're not going to go out and get one as of now. But again, we will have to wait and see. We know how the window changes and it can change very quickly. Now, this is what he had to say on Semenyo. He said, Semenyo, it was more of a market opportunity. They wanted to sign him rather than focusing immediately on that position. It doesn't mean that they definitely go for alternative for that wide attacking role now or in the summer, but I do think it's on the agenda to fill at some point. The primary focus is midfield with the number 6 position. Never say never, but I'm not sure that's going to happen in January. So yeah, I think certainly the Semenyo one was an opportunity, and I don't think we are in desperate need of a wide forward. We just spent 130 mil plus on Cunha and Burmo. You have Ahmad who can play there, Mason Mount has played there, and Bruno can play there, Mainu can play there, like Xerxes as well, depending on what happens with him. But I think we're not in the need of a sort of wide 10 or whatever. I think obviously with the formation change and what's going on, potentially do need more bodies in that position. But again, I think I'm happy. Obviously, yes, we're losing a lot of players to AFCON at the moment and through injury, but I think we definitely have enough in that, and the aim would be to go and get a midfield. And it was clear, I don't think Semenyo was a priority, and even Amram said that, linking the kind of talking about the Semenyo deal, we're not going to go out and sign players Or you said maybe we'll go out and get a player that's like not our priority, but we can see him as a good opportunity, and we know United want to sign players for the future, and Semenyo definitely would have been that. But I think missing out on him, I wouldn't say it's a blessing in disguise because I think he is a top player, but again he would have added the profile. And again, would he potentially made Ruben Amorim change the system? We never know because he has changed the system in the last game yesterday. So again, it's very interesting to see what kind of does happen there. But I think Semenyo was an interesting opportunity. He was a market opportunity, a decent price, decent age at 25, so he would have been at the club for the long term. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But we know we're not going to get Semenyo. Now on Joshua Zirkzee, he's waiting to see whether Manchester United will sanction a loan. Talk between Zirkzee and Roma in advance. Manchester United haven't told the player or Italian side that they will allow an exit in January. I think that kind of depends with on AFCON and what kind of situation is when players come back. I think certainly Xerxes wants to go out, and again, we know we've said it many times, he has his own ambitions of being in that Dutch squad where he can definitely get a place in there. And I think he's a very good player, Xerxes, but I don't know if he's the sort of player that we need at the top level. But again, he was very, very good in terms of he has moments. But again, long term, I don't know if he's good enough to be a top United player. But I think Xerxes getting him out on loan would be good for him. Potentially gives us, I mean, what a lot of people were saying, when you get rid of Xerxes, you bring in Semenyo. I think that would have been the move that all United fans probably wanted to see. But again, with kind of Sesko struggling at times, I think Xerxes massively struggled yesterday against Newcastle. I mean, he couldn't get any. Again, it was due to the game as well, but he couldn't really hold up the ball. And I think Sesko was someone, Amorim talked about how he wants players who can allow us to breathe. I thought Sesko is one of them. Yes, we know Cunha, Xerxes is a good player at doing that, but I don't think he did it very, very well. So, listen, Xerxes, I think he's a decent squad player at best. We don't know what's going to happen with the loan deal yet, depending on how the window goes and players coming back from AFCON. But I'm pretty sure a decision will be made soon on that. But yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any other news. I don't think there is at the moment. They are sort of the latest stories on Manchester United. So yeah, obviously Harry Maguire is closing on a return from injury. 32-year-old has stepped up his rehab and has been doing individual work on the ball. Expectation is to return to the team soon if training goes well. So listen, Maguire being back is a huge boost, but again, Aiden Heaven's been done very, very well this season. And in the last few games he's been quality. So again, Maguire being back, it gives us options. Yeah, it gives us options. I think that's a positive. But let's see what does happen. That has been your latest Manchester United news.